Wow. Okay, today we want to talk about the human problem, how to solve it. I don't know if you have noticed something. God made us, Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. God made us in his image. And the first image of God revealed in scripture is creativity. The Bible said in the beginning God created. God has attributes, he has qualities that define him. But the first one revealed is creativity. So God created three things. He created creation. I'm just using three C's to talk about it. You can use different ways to say it. He created the universe, that's creation. He created creatures, animal kingdom and everything that moves and crawls, all the other, and then he created creators. And the one that is the creator is the one he made in his image. So he made us to be co-creators with him. Now, God's idea, God's plan when he was doing that is that once you get the human person right, all the other problems in that environment, in that society, in that place can be solved. So as people build, design, created and commissioned to function like God, because when you say God made us in his image, maybe I should read it. Let us make man in our image after our likeness so they can have dominion. Let them have dominion. Now, God made us like himself. The best way to understand that is when you as human beings give birth to your children. Your child is born human just like you. So the difference now between that child and the father or the parents is development, and that's what I'm going to discuss. How do we develop ourselves? How do we develop the people God has given us to come to the full capacity in God, where the presence of that man is like the presence of God in that environment? God planned that the earth will be a reflection of heaven, but that human beings will be his own reflection. Human beings will be God expressed in the flesh. Now, Adam was the original image bearer. From Adam, all of us who are his descendants will have had a model. You know, in manufacturing, when you want to create a car or any product, you create the mold first. If you use block, you create the block mold. In a block industry, you create the mold first. The mold is the first fruit. The idea is that when you take the raw materials and put into the mold, they come out, the product comes out taking the same shape. So Adam was the mold, the first mold of God in a human form. The rest of his descendants were to follow that pattern. So you can now see what Satan did when he recruited Adam into his rebellion, is that Satan did not attack the product, he attacked the mold. Because if you come to a block industry and destroy 3 blocks, as long as the mold is intact, you will remake them. But if you destroy the mold, if you change the mold, then you have affected every product that will follow. And that's exactly what Satan did. He went and did this attack at the foundation, so that every other fruit, every other person that will come out of Adam will be damaged. He destroyed human development from his foundation. That's what the devil did. He poisoned the tree from the roots. So what did God do to solve the problem? He sent a second mold, a second Adam, and he sent somebody that is exactly like him. Hebrews chapter 1 verse 3 said that Jesus, please can you put it up, who being the brightness of God's glory, the his there is God, God's glory, the express image of his person. Show Colossians chapter 1 verse 15. Who is the image of the invisible? He's talking about Jesus. You see, that thing God created originally that was damaged, he sent a brand new mold that is exactly like him. Now if you understand this, you know what the end product will be. all the work of ministry is to build human beings, build capacity to come to the standard of God. And since God is in the spirit, invisible, we don't know what he looks like. He has sent us his express image, God in a human form, so that we will know what God looks like, and then we will know what we are meant, created to look like. In other words, the coming of Jesus was to do two things. He came to show us the Father, then he came to show us. So in him, in studying him, I get a revelation of who the Father is, because I'm created in his image. I can't become what I don't know. But in studying him, I get a revelation of who I am. As he is, so are we in this world. If this foundation is clear, then we have set the goal for ministry. The whole goal of ministry is to take human beings from Egypt, redeem them from bondage, slavery to sin, and then build them to the fullness of the stature of Christ. So if you now understand this, you can break it down into the processes now that delivers the result. That's what I'm going to draw for you on the board now. It's like an industry. It's like a manufacturing process in an industry. I studied industrial chemistry. So when you see an industry that produces anything, you will see the starting point where they bring in the raw materials and do the input. Then you see the second stage, which is process, what they take those raw materials through. And sometimes you have process 1, process 2. Then you finally get to output. And when they get to the product, the output, then the output is deployed into the market to create the outcome. When you produce a car, that's not the final stage. The final thing is when the car is carrying people and doing transportation. You don't create product for product's sake. You create product to solve a problem. And that's how it is with human development. The church needs to rediscover now how to take men, how to make men, how to mold men, and produce a Christ-like man out of him, and produce Jesus men. You know, and when I say Jesus, I don't mean that religious thing that we normally get in our head when we say making people to be like Jesus. You're actually literally producing God in the flesh. You're producing a creator. You're producing a leader in that class. You're producing a world changer. You're producing a deliverer. When you understand it, for example, as I show you what I'm going to show you now, take personal responsibility to pass yourself through the production chain, the process. Don't wait for any other person. But then you will have to need input. When you take the responsibility, that's the difference between us and ordinary product. We have a will. God gave us a mind. We are spirit beings with a soul that live in a body. We don't have to leave our destiny in the hand of somebody else. So as an individual, you take responsibility for your own growth and outcome. Then as ministers, as churches, we have to now build structures and systems along the 5 processes I will show you. As governments, as leaders, as business leaders, as leaders of organization, you have to realize that the people you brought in, you call your staff, are not supposed to be left at the stage you met them. So you also have to create a system for developing your leadership pipeline. So as one CEO is leaving, you're not running around looking for one. You are growing them in your organization. And what the organization is not able to finish, you outsource those ones. A successful business is not the one that makes only profits. A successful business is the one that makes people while making profit.